Okay, we're still holding Samach Vavim and Beis. Rav had brought a proof to his position that if an Eid Echad says, Zinsa Ishtcha, your wife committed adultery, remained silent, his wife is permitted to. His wife, even though it remained silent. Abai disagreed. So Rava had brought a proof from the dialogue between Rav Tarfon and Rabbi Akiva that it seems to be, like Rava said, even though he remained silent with an Eid Echad, you totally dismiss the statement, the testimony of the Eid Echad. So that Abai says no. It's speaking when he said to him that you're a Baal Mum, he countered him. But Eid Echad comes and says to a Kohen, you're a Baal Mum. So Rava originally said, and it says we consider the testimony of the Eid Echad, right? We consider it. Because for Ben Gerush and Chalutza you don't. We differentiate between Ben Gerush and Chalutza and what? And Eid Echad by Baal regarding where he's defective, the Kohen. So Rava says, you see clearly that what? That shtika regarding Baal Mum, right? Only because of the Eid Echad is qualified. A Ben Gerush and Chalutza, Eid Echad, and you're silent, not. So Abai says no. It's speaking where he counters the Eid Echad. So if he's countered, usually when you have Eid Echad Bat Kosher, when you have two single witnesses countering one another, you totally dismiss it. You don't even pay attention to it. So why over here regarding Baal Mum do you pay attention when he says you're a Baal Mum to the Kohen? If he counters it, why are we considering his testimony? So on that, the Gemara says because the Eid Echad could say to the person who claims it's defective, he says, look, it's verifiable. Remove your clothing, and I'll prove to you that you're a defective Kohen. He can't say, you know, it's interesting. There's a halacha that an Eid Echad is Mechayim Shvur. If a person, Reuven says to Shimon, I'll lend you $100. Shimon denies it. So we'll go for a kol. So what, on the Torah level, one doesn't have to swear. What about if Reuven brings an Eid Echad, a single witness, who says, I witnessed alone. So the single witness obligates the one who the claim's against that he has to swear, that he didn't borrow. Shvur with an oath, he could actually dismiss the Eid Echad, but if he doesn't swear, he has to pay. That's a doraisa, right? Lo yokom Eid Echad oven l'chochatos avukam d'shvur. It's a pasuk, the Torah. Okay, Eid Echad's mechayv shvur on the Torah level. Now, what happens if an Eid Echad knows that Reuven lent Shimon money, but Reuven doesn't bring the Eid Echad to Bezdin? But the Eid Echad, the single witness, comes on his own as a good Samaritan. Says this man is a bad man. I will testify in court that he owes him money as a single witness. Will the Bezdin obligate Shimon to swear without Reuven, the claimant, bringing him? The halacha is no. The Baldin has to bring the Eid Echad to make the claim. Of course, otherwise the court doesn't hear it. It's only because you have to have a basis for a claim. You have to have a basis for a claim. See, two witnesses is evidence. See, the Eid Echad supports the claim of the one of the claimant. But if there's no claimant, Eid Echad means nothing. It's not two, no, but it's enough to create a question. So you need a shvur to what? To clarify the issue. But if an Eid Echad, let me finish talking, okay? But if an Eid Echad comes on his own, it means nothing. So it's similar here. If you have Eid Echad bat kosher, Eid Echad normally says it's kosher, not kosher. Okay? We accept his testimony. Nobody's countering. But if the person says, I have the meat, I said the meat is kosher. Eid Echad says it's not kosher. You don't pay attention to it whatsoever. It's not, we give him some degree of value. We give no value whatsoever, because the Eid Echad really has no value. It's only in a vacuum, he has value. But there's not a vacuum because somebody's saying differently. So he cannot disrupt anything. So the Gemara says, so Abai says no. But if you could verify the position of the Eid Echad, you verify it. Because you could actually say, look, strip off your clothing. Take off your clothing, I'll prove to you that what I'm saying is correct. Therefore, Abai says, therefore we speak about kosher. So the Ben Gerush Ben Chalutza, we speak about kosher. But if it would be shtika, if the Eid Echad be shtika, if an Eid Echad says, Zinsa ishtacha, your wife committed adultery and remained silent, he would not be permitted to his wife. That's Abai's position. So this doesn't refute Abai's position. Of course, we rule like Rava. Eid Echad says, Zinsa ishtacha, Yeshosek. remain silent, it means nothing. Because it's al pishnai made him yakum davar, you need two witnesses. So I'm explaining to you. What do you have to swear? When an Eid Echad comes, if the man, I say to you, you owe me $100, and you deny that you have borrowed, there's no reason to swear. It's your word against my word. There's not even a reglaimnu. There's a concept that Gemara says by Sota. Just read about Sota last week. If a person has kinu in theory, forewarns his wife in presence to witness, who shouldn't seclude herself with another man. She defies his warning. We have witnesses. She went behind closed doors. Okay? So she's a Sota. She's a suspected adulteress until it's verified what happened. She's not permitted to husband. Let's say an Eid Echad, who's normally not believed, says, look, I looked through the peephole and I saw they were committing adultery. In that case, do you believe the Eid Echad in terms of that she's definitely, you can't administer the water anymore. She's not a suspected adulteress. The Gemara says she is an adulteress, based on a pasuk. The Gemara says, why? Ein davar shebe'ever pasuk mishnayim. Right? The Gemara says, because this is regalayim l'davar. Since without the Eid Echad, we already have circumstantial evidence that something happened behind closed doors. Here he forewarns her. She defies his warning. There's a lot of smoke. The question is there fire? That's the question. The Eid Echad, in that context, we believe him. Because there's regalayim l'davar. There's circumstantial evidence. So I'm saying, normally if I say to you, you owe me $100, and you deny it, there's no basis. Why I owe? It's your word against my word. We don't pay attention to you. What about if an Eid Echad comes and supports the claim of the claimant? That already creates regalayim l'davar. That creates this. Now the question becomes more of a question. So if an Eid Echad comes on his own, where the claimant is not making the claim, you're meaningless. Nobody's making a claim here. You say so, you're irrelevant. But if the one who makes the claim, which the person has a right to make a claim, and his claim is supported with the testimony of an Eid Echad, that creates the question in the minds of the Bezdin. It's not evidence, but it's enough to create a question. As a result of that, that's why you have to swear. Ruvain says to Shimon, you owe me money. No. Once the claim is presented in court, then the Bezdin will listen to the Eid Echad. I'm saying the Eid Echad comes on. He's a good Samaritan, right? Same thing. Identical. No difference. Because that has nothing to do with, her qualification as a witness. She's not coming as a witness. She's coming as a claimant. It's not two witnesses. It's not.
The man comes and makes his claim and is supported by one witness. In some way, there's two men witnesses.
But he's a koro.
One is disqualified because, but that is a technical thing that maybe.
I see that David's being influenced by my my whole perception of the gender. Okay.
But if it works for a woman, then you bring her.
No, it's identical. Same thing. What?
Well,
Sure, it's regular. Same thing. It's the regalayim l'davar. There's a claim, and she has something to support the claim. So now we have a question. So the question has to be dealt with. So the only thing I just want to bring this up, because if you remember, we spoke about machlokes we shown him maybe about 2 months ago at the beginning of Metzia, that the Gemara says that if the person doesn't take the shvuah, take the oath, he has to pay. It says mitoch sheni yochol l'sham v'shalei. Okay? Now the question is, why do you pay? Do you pay because the Torah says there's sufficient question that if you don't resolve the question, you have to pay? That's why you pay. So it's not you believing the Eid Echad. It's not you believe the witness. Torah says an Eid Echad creates a sufficient question that the person has to respond. If you don't respond, then you pay. Torah says, "Ohi shavo shalem." Swear or you pay. Is that so? Really, you're not believing. So the basis you're paying is not the testimony that we're giving credence to what the Eid Echad had said. It's not the Eid Echad's equivalent of two witnesses where you don't swear. The other way to understand the Eid Echad has equivalent credibility of two witnesses. However, you have the ability to counter an Eid Echad with a shvur. Two witnesses you can't counter with a shvur. That's absolute evidence. Two witnesses. Single witness doesn't have that strength of two, but you're able to counter it. What happens if you choose not to counter him? But what person says, I'm not going to swear? Then we actually believe. We believe the Eid Echad. So it's more than a reglaim l'davar. It's more than a reglaim. You believe it. What's the halachic difference? We spoke about the halachic difference. What happens if Ruvain brings a witness who claims he witnessed the loan, that he lent Shimon $100, and Shimon says, I didn't borrow. Okay? And Shimon says, I have a single witness, that I was elsewhere. I couldn't have borrowed from you, as your single witness saying, because I wasn't even in the location. So we have chad keneged chad. Right? Is that called one against one? Well, not one against one. It's an argument among the Rishonim. Some say just as an Eid Echad could obligate one to swear, an Eid Echad could absolve you from swearing. Okay? If you say an Eid Echad has credibility to believe him, so if he's believed to obligate you, so he's believed to absolve you. But if you say an Eid Echad, all it does is create reglaim l'davar. He creates circumstantial evidence. It's not that you believe the Eid Echad. So that's what we see. That's what an Eid Echad, that's its value, a single witness. So we have a question. The circumstance, his claim is being supported. You have to swear with. It's not that I'm believing him. He creates a question. Exactly. No, so the difference is whether you absolve him from swearing. One says yes, one says no. Even though it's one-on-one. Because there the Torah never gave any credibility to a single witness to absolve. A single witness only creates the doubt. That's all he can do. He has no credibility and belief. We don't believe him. But because he's supporting the claim of the claimant, therefore creates the circumstantial evidence questions. There's a sufficient doubt that it has to be addressed.
That's great monetary.
We're talking monetary, only monetary. Wait a second, let's understand this, then we'll shift to your question. And then you'll understand what your question is, no relevance to the discussion. Okay? It's not more severe, it's just a reality. It's a reality. Because factually, if factually there's a question, why don't you swear? Swear, why aren't you swearing? Swearing itself is a reason to say, you ask a person a question, he doesn't want to answer the question. I plead the fifth. What are you pleading the fifth? The answer is because you understand you'll be incriminated if you have to respond. It's a cover-up. No, but the Torah never gave any credibility to an Eid Echad. Never gave credibility to an Eid Echad. Exactly. You have to respond with a shvur. That's the reason. Right. Exactly. Because you don't believe the Eid Echad. The doubt is there. The doubt is a doubt. Correct. No, because there's no such thing as swearing to obligate you. We're not creating new oaths. The Torah says the one who swears is the one who the claim is made against. The Torah says we're not talking about a rabbinic oath. We're talking about a Torah oath. When you make a claim, you have a witness to support you. The Torah says you have to swear. No, because there's no such oath. The Torah never said there was such an oath. Correct. The loan itself. Right. Correct. There's no such oath. There's no such oath. Good. Now we ask you a question.
How does circumstantial evidence plus that a work? I still don't understand it. If it's two AJs.
Yeah.
How does that?
Wait 1 second. Before the Eid Echad says a word, what is the relation between the suspected adulteress and the husband? Is she permitted to him or not? No. Right? No, there was forewarning not to sequester herself, and then she defies it. And we have witnesses on both things. On the forewarning, and she went behind closed doors. She's not permitted to the husband. right? Even though she's suspected, because there's a circumstantial evidence that maybe something happened. So until it's verified, she's not permitted. So she has to drink the water. If she agrees, she claims her innocence, and he's agreeable to go through the process, she goes through the process of the suspected adulteress, correct? But until it's verified she did not, she's not permitted to him. So what's her relationship with her husband? Off limits. Correct? At this point. Now in Eid Echad, on top of that, Torah says, what happens in Eid Echad comes and says, I saw what happened. Then we say she no longer can drink the water. We're not punishing her. We're not speaking to his belief regarding punishment. Right? Let's say Eid Echad says, I forewarned her. It's irrelevant what you said. That's punishment. She's not going to be put to death. But the question is she confirmed now as a definite adulteress? Because she only administered the water to the suspected adulteress. So she's no longer considered suspected.
She cannot be put to death.
No, definitely not. No. It's only her status in the relationship with her husband.
Would be two equal, say, I minority him, not one person to deliver him?
No. Even a single witness. Even a single witness. Let's say you have an Eid Echad bat kosher. Single witness says, how could have you said that you saw it? We were somewhere else. No, that's Eid Echad bat kosher. So then the single witness has no value because he cancels him out immediately. It's not a zum. That's called Eid Echad bat kosher. She would still have the ability to.
Although in the case of the oath, the man, that's it's similar. The man takes the oath, she takes the word. No, you said the one witness is canceled.
By the oath or where? By the. It's a machlok shushonim. It's a machlok shushonim.
So in one case, one says yes, the other says no.
Correct. Here, definitely, the Gemara says that here they cancel each other out.
In some sense, the woman drinking is like the man taking the word.
No, she's claiming her innocence. She's claiming her innocence.
So is the other man, the one who's taking the oath.
No, but let's he says, I don't want to swear. If he says, I don't want to swear, right? Then you pay. But here, if she says, I'm not drinking the water, either way, even without the one witness, she doesn't.
The man didn't owe the man. Why wouldn't he want to swear? What would cause him to not swear? The Torah gives you the issue.
Why?
Yeah.
The Gemara says, what about if let's say he's a thief? If he's a thief, he has no credibility. So he's suspect to the lie. So then we say, the Torah says you have to swear. If you don't swear, you pay. So in that case, that's why there's a rabbinic oath, because every person who's not qualified to swear will be taken advantage of. The more you use the term l'shapus chai v'choderia, these people not going to be able to live. A person, because not even with a single witness, everybody agrees. Motiv mikzas, you swear. Partial admission. I say you owe me $1,000. You make a partial claim, right? You have to swear. Motiv mikzas. So let's say a person is not qualified to swear because he has a criminal record. Okay, he has a criminal record. And you go and say, I'd like to lend you money to this person who has the criminal record. And you lend him $100, then you go to him and says, you owe me $1,000. He says, what $1,000? I only owe you $100. Motive mixes, you swear. You can't swear, you pay me the $1,000. So you're able to actually create this scenario and victimize every person. So therefore, rabbinically, Chazal say, something? If you have that kind of claim in that case, the one who's making the claim has to swear.
But that's different. Let's suppose you have a man who sits out, and he is accused of owing money. Is there any reason he wouldn't swear?
Due to his piety.
Why wouldn't he? The Torah gives him permission.
He's permitted. There's because, yeah. I mean, most Jews don't. What do you think Jews say? We affirm. We don't say we swear. Right? We don't say we swear because there's a midrash that says very few people throughout history were permitted to swear. Who were permitted to swear? Yaakov, Yosef, Moshe. Why? When you swear, what action using? Using God's name to what? To further yourself. If every aspect of your life is you live for God, okay. Because everything I do is for God. But if you live for yourself, when it comes to protect what you have, now all of a sudden using God's name, it's a disrespect. You mean God is not your doormat? What's in Avraham Avinu? Yes. First of all, it says there was, he adjured him. He imposed the oath on him. Eliezer didn't say a word. He accepted what Avram says. He says, I adjure you, and he says, I accept. Okay? Avram Avinu definitely was that.
But what's the language of being someone swearing in court?
I swear. Today, I affirm.
No, I'm saying if they're talking about...
I swear. Use the term, I swear.
I swear.
I swear that I don't owe you money.
And you use the Shem of
Even if you don't use the Shem Hashem. That's, we're learning in the Dorim now, in the Daf Yomi. There's a thing called Yad. When you say, I swear that I don't, it's like saying, even though you didn't say the name of God, it's the equivalent of saying you swore in the name of Hashem. And therefore, it's the equivalent of saying you said God's name. And therefore, it's not a good thing. Even though he didn't actually say the Shem Hashem.
So rather, you're saying that real tzaddikim who don't own the money choose not to swear.
Exactly. Today, most observant Jews, if they didn't have the option of saying I affirm, they're willing to lose the money. They're willing to lose the money.
Even though they know that they owe.
Doesn't make a difference. They will not swear under any circumstance.
And I might argue that Hashem gave me this money. You say Rosh Hashanah.
Doesn't make a
Hashem
difference.
gave me the money, and so it's my obligation to protect what was given me. And therefore, Hashem gave me the
I'll
money
ask you a
to
question.
swear.
I'll ask you a question. Person is going to have a financial loss, and if unless he picks up the phone and calls the police department on Shabbos, where his business is being burglarized, he's going to lose the money. Well, Hashem gave it to me. I have an obligation, but Hashem's wait. Hashem says, but you can't violate the Shabbos unless it's pikuach nefesh. God says you can only use my name if it's my glory. So if you live your life for my glory, so then you're swearing for my glory.
That's my understanding of swearing.
That's what I'm saying. So it's the same thing. Therefore, it's but that's why it's a disrespect. Therefore, it's considered disrespectful.
Because I thought it's more like,
It's your prerogative.
it's like, with respect to the Sota and the dissolving of Hashem's name in the water, Chazal go out of the way to say, this is how important Shalom Bayit is.
No.
That Hashem
No.
is willing to allow his name to be
No,
dissolved.
no, doesn't say that. Doesn't say that. Doesn't say that. Doesn't say that. That's your interpretation of it.
That's what I heard.
Okay, look, you can make a good pulpit rabbi. Harmony between husband and wife, no. Now, no. The kior, the laver, what was it made of? Copper. And it says it was made of maros hatzovos. No, but it doesn't just say maros, hatzovos. So Rashi cites Chazal that what were these mirrors? Originally, Moshe rejected them because since the mirror represents it's the tool of the evil inclination, because a woman beautifies herself in the mirror, it's inappropriate. Bring it into the Mishkan. That should ritualize. That should purify the Kohen to qualify him to do the avoda. So Hashem says those mirrors are more beloved to me than anything else, than the gold and everything else they give me. Why? Because when the Jews were in Egypt, the wives took these mirrors, went out to the fields. The husbands had no interest in procreating because they felt it's a dead end game over here. There's no future. They enticed their husbands through these mirrors, and that's why they were tzovos. Therefore, there were multitudes of Jews, legions of Jews born into existence. So because of them, there's a Jewish people. Therefore, I owe it to them. We would have never had a redemption from Egypt, not for the women. Therefore, I'm even going to allow my name to be obliterated for them, to vindicate them. That's the Havi Shalom meaning. The husband suspects his wife. So it's for the sake of vindication. That's the Shalom. Not there should be harmony. Because Shalom Bayis is such an important thing. God says, I'm indebted to them because of what they did. That's the Shalom Bein Ish L'Ishto. Here the woman's being suspected. She claims her innocence. But you have to obliterate my name. You want to know something? My name, I wouldn't have it. My name would have no value if there wouldn't be a Jewish people. I owe it to them that there is a Jewish people. Therefore, let my name be obliterated for her to be vindicated. She's claiming her innocence. That's what she's claiming. Yeah. Not that, but that's what it says in Chazal. That's what it says exactly. You want to say this, that, but that's not what it says. Of course, Sholem Bayis is an important thing. But what is the emphasis of the Sholem Bayis? Ve'lite Sholem bein ish le'ishto. Because she's being accused of being an adulteress. She claims her innocence. So this restores her status. Her husband doesn't see her that as any longer as that.
Well, if you're going to say, I would be to make maybe you don't like it, but I was going to make the argument that Hashem is willing to allow his name to be erased in order to cleanse or clear this situation up.
But why?
Hashem is willing to let his name be used.
Obliterated. The word is obliterated, not erased.
Obliterated. Hashem is willing to allow his name to be used in a swearing context in order to allow this kind of letter to be cleared up. So one is even going further.
Yeah, but that we don't see that. Why does the Torah? Person has a claim. Well, there's no other way.
There's no other way.
There's no other way. Otherwise, the man has a claim.
And
So how do you somehow?
You know, the whole thing about Lashon Hara and not having machloket, and we see in the Torah that when the Jews were together, special things happened. When there was divisiveness, it was the opposite. Hashem is saying, I'm giving you a way out. Use my name.
There's a famous story, the Rashash, Rav Shlomo Shturshin. He was the Shturshin library. The Rashash lived in Vilna, and his commentaries in the back of the Gemara, Shas, and he was a banker, very, very wealthy man. And he learned he was telling me he learned Behaaloscha with the Shas a lot. And he used to lend money. He was a banker, and there was this Jew came to borrow money from him, borrowed a substantial amount of money, and the Jew came to repay the loan. The Rashash was in the middle of learning. It was like 11 o'clock at night. Knocks on his door. Middle learning, he was learning Masechus Yevamos. And he gives him an envelope with the money that he owed him. He was involved in his learning. He takes the envelope, puts it in the Gemara, and continues learning. He goes through his ledger, his books. He sees the man, the debt hasn't been paid. Calls the man. He says, you didn't pay it. He says, well, I brought the money to the house. Then Rashash has no recollection of it. And the Rashash, besides being what was a tzaddik. And this man was a little bit an unsavory character, the borrower. So really, a person's a kofar hakol. Rabbinically, you have to swear. He admits he's a borrower. If you admit you're a borrower, nobody argues. You have to swear. Kofar hakol. But the Rashash is not going to impose a shvur. He's not going to be the cause of the man to swear, because this person would have sworn. He doesn't want to be the cause of Hashem's name to be used, because he felt he'd be lying. So he waived the debt. So he says, I waive it. I'm not going to make the claim against you. Don't swear, I will not make the claim against you. Wait a second. You want to hear the story? Okay? So word gets out in the community that this person went. He actually went. It's enough that he shysted his people, ordinary people, but to take advantage of the Rashash, the great tzaddik, the Rashash, and he was a peddler. He became persona non grata. Nobody would buy things from him. Nobody would marry his children. He left in disgrace. He had to leave the community. The Rashash, he would learn Shas a few times a year, comes to Masechus Yevamos, turns the page, sure enough, finds the envelope in his Gemara. And it's like, he's beside himself. He realized he destroyed this man's life, because he accused him of not repaying the loan, and he felt he was the tzaddik. He waived the oath and waived the debt. He felt terrible. He didn't know what to do. So he says, what could he do? He'll tell the community that he made a mistake. So people will say he's such a tzaddik because he destroyed his life. He's willing to what? To even say that he really had the money to be able to help the man. But truth is, the man is still, he victimized the Rashash. So he called up the person. He found out where he was. He begged him. He pleaded with him. He says, I'll restore you, financially, no problem. He says, but you realize I'm an outcast. I'm seen as this villain because of what I did to you. Nobody's going to believe what you do and tell them. He says, you have a daughter, I have a son, we'll make it a shidduch. And that's the only way people will believe it. And the Rashash allowed his son to marry this man's daughter. And that's how we vindicated him. That's the story. Okay? Famous story. So how it has relevance to us? It's a medrash. The Mishkan is called Mishkan HaEdus. It's a testament. It's a testament of what? that God forgave the Jews al chet ha'egel. So the nations of the world say, you think God dwells in your midst? After you hear it, you think the relation was never a relationship? At Sinai, you're already worshiping the golden calf. So Hashem says that, build it for you the Mishkan, V'shchat v'sochem. And then afterwards it says, Shor kesev eski voleit. It says the ox, the goat, the sheep and the goat. So how do you bring the egel? You bring an egel. How does Hashem accept the egel as a korban? If actually that's the incriminating species. This is Moshel Domer. Interesting. It's a medrash. A king had a minister, and the king went off on some trip, and word went out that the minister committed adultery with the queen. The king comes back, is infuriated, he's ready to execute the minister. The minister pleads innocent. The king goes and does an investigation. Turns out he's innocent. They slandered him. So what does he do? So he makes a banquet for all his ministers, and who does he sit next to him? The accused minister. So this is how he vindicated him. Hashem says, it says, Elo Elehechu Yisrael. If the Jews themselves initiated the golden calf, it should say, Elo Eleheinu Yisrael. It's your God. The answer to this was the rabble. It's not the Jews. Shor Kesef Voleit. You bring me the ox. The ox will vindicate you, would say clearly that you're not really culpable for the Chet Egel. Okay? Same idea. So what the Rashash did was what Hashem did to us, for us, to vindicate us. Okay? They have to come simultaneously. Before they rule on the ruling on the testimony of the Eid Echad, the other Eid Echad came and said he countered him. Once they ruled that his testimony, then we don't accept testimony of the second Eid Echad. But that's true by anything. Eid Echad says kosher, and we accept the ruling. And then all of a sudden, a week later, another Eid Echad says no, it's not kosher. We don't accept testimony of the second Eid Echad. Because the Gemara says, "Komok shemim torah echad, harei kan shnayim." It's the equivalent of two witnesses. No, they came. The accused brought in Eid Echad to claim that he never borrowed. No, it has nothing to do with Regulaim. Regulaim Davis, because over there was Regulaim Davis. Because there was Kinyan Stira. I claim you owe me $100. I bring a witness. So he brings a witness who counts as your witness. So does he have any value? That's the discussion.
So the bottom line is we're creating this system that doesn't really work. Because even you use the example of the Rashash, let's say it's a real case where, one's being a tzaddik and says, I'm not going to make this guy swear, even though he's 100% right, and he has to pay the money because he doesn't want to take a shul, or however everyone play it out.
But here's the other way. He forfeited the money.
Right, but
because he didn't want to impose the shul.
It could play out in two different directions.
100%.
But at the end of the day, we have a situation where we say these are the rules,
but I have a right to waive it. I have a right to waive my claim.
Right. So if you follow the rules of the court, you're doing something that can be viewed as inappropriate. You return the money. All right, swear that you return the money.
Right.
And then he said, I don't want to take a shul if it's inappropriate.
No, he didn't say he would. He was ready to take the oath.
Putting aside the Rashash's story, another story is something similar, where someone really paid back the money, doesn't want to take an oath.
Doesn't make a difference.
So
doesn't make a difference.
But the scenario is a scenario where...
Let me ask you, a person is accused of committing murder. Two witnesses claiming that he was forewarned that he committed murder. He knows he didn't commit murder. He's being put to death. So it's a faulty system. And you have such a thing as conspiring witnesses. Torah discusses conspiring witnesses. And what happens to the found to be conspiring after the execution takes place? You can't even prosecute the witnesses because it's kasher zomo lo kasher rasa. So it's always that, but you still have to have a system.
Yes, but by definition, someone is supposed to swear in a situation where two people are being threatened. Even one forgot something.
So that's your thing. You want to swear, swear. You don't want to swear, you pay. That's what the Torah says. You want to be a tzaddik, it's going to cost you to be a tzaddik. You want to be a tzaddik, glatt kosher costs more than regular kosher. Finished. You got to pay for it. You want to be a tzaddik, it costs to be a tzaddik. I can't do the deal because I have to study. Okay, so good. So you're not doing the deal. So the mitzvah, it says you should evaluate the loss of the money versus the value of the mitzvah. Okay, that's you read Pirkei Avos.
The system is set up for the stash in exchange. So you have to follow the system
let's continue. We're not learning all Nezika now. We're learning Noshim now. Okay. It has to be a man. She has to be a man. Torah says she has to be a man. Well, what's circumstantial? She said, "I saw it happen." We don't give her any credence. What happens if a non-Jew comes? Right? An upright non-Jew. Doesn't make a difference. Torah says he has no credibility. 1,000 women. Okay? Omer Rav Yehuda Shmuel. The Gemara says now, the analogy that we make it to Ben Grusha Ben Chalutza, if you have a person, his mother was a divorcee, he officiated as a Kohen, now we find out afterwards he's not a Kohen. The service that he had done, could you imagine? The person was the Kohen Gadol. He saw La Zozel, the saw La Hashem, everything. And the crimson cloth turned white. Yeah, it turned white on Yom Kippur. Comes Erev Sukkot, 2 witnesses come and testify, Ben Grusha Ben Chalutza. So evidently the service was valid. But how do we know the service is valid? The crimson cloth turning white is not enough of a proof. We need a pasuk. So the Gemara says, how do we know Ben Grusha Ben Chalutza that his avodah is valid? Right? Ben Grusha Ben Chalutza shepsulam. Excuse me. How do we know? Amr Yehuda Shmuel. Domakrov hoysa lo ulazaro achrov. It says, this is by Pinchas. Oy lo ulazaro bris kunasolam. Now what does zaro mean? He and his progeny. Which progeny? Bein zera kosher, bein zera posul. Whether it's kosher progeny or non-kosher progeny. Kunasolam. So we're referring even to the Ben Grusha as what? As a Kohen. So therefore, if he officiated as a non-Kohen, as a Kohen, and later we find out that he's a Cholo, avodosa kshero. So Tosa asks a question. Now the halacha is, let's say a person dies childless and he has a surviving brother. What's the halacha? His wife falls to evil. So the Gemara says, what about if he has a child who committed adultery with another woman or incest, and he has a mamzer? Child of mamzer. Is that called, he has a surviving child? Is there a mitzvah of yibum where his progeny is not kosher progeny? Good question. So the Gemara says, it says, bein zera kosher, bein zera posul. Why? Because it says, ben ein lo. Right? It says, ben ein lo. So the Gemara says, ein ayin olov. You should investigate if he has any descendants. So from the word ayin olov, you should investigate regardless of who the descendant is, kosher or not. But over there it also says zera. So the Gemara says, because zera means zera kosher. How do we know zera posul? Because it says ayin olov. So that's Tosa's question. So you see, the word zera doesn't indicate both. You need that extra word. So why over here we interpreting zera to mean both zera kosher being zera posul?